Okay, welcome back to Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, Anime Review, episode number 2. This one, we're covering episodes 5 through 7. These ones are, it's more like the way it's been before, where the thing with this series is that every episode is like a series of short stories, somewhat loosely connected to each other. Now, I'm going to tell some of these stories out of order. Take, for example, episode 6. There's kind of two things going with this one. First of which, the first episode is a parody of an isekai, where you have the senpai ending up in a alternate reality, and he sees a woman who looks very similar to Sakura. Yeah, she was a girl who hung out with the other two at the start of the series, but this is her first appearance since then. And he's basically the virgin for life skill, and he's a wizard. So he goes down and runs into Nagatoro. Of course, this is Nagatoro. I should point out the outfit does make an appearance later on that she wears. Yep. He's chased by a giant lizard when he falls down from the sky. Oh yeah, the whole thing with this one, he has to be a demon lord. Okay. Fine. The premise of this episode seems very similar to a two-parter from To Love Ru. You probably think it probably is, because I'm sure that the creator of the series is a big fan of To Love Ru. It's possible he might be. I'm not really sure about that. Yeah, so then after being saved by Nagatoro, they travel for a bit, and then they defeat a black dragon who transforms into a human. Which you probably think that's a little weird. Well, this is actually Garo, and then we see an egg hatch, and it's what is her name? She's like the bimbo of the group. Yoshi, where she acts like an actual Yoshi, except she's the bunny girl. And they travel for a bit. They get to the Demon Lord's castle, and it turns out these girls are the Demon Lord. And then, of course, Senpai wakes up, and well, the second half of the episode is a lot more interesting than this one, where the girls invite Senpai to go to the beach. Yep, the titular beach episode. And yes, this did happen in the manga too. So then we have the girls try out their swimsuits, and of course, Gemo tries out her suit. Like, man, she looks great in that suit. You have Yoshi wearing her typical suit, basically with a little flower edge. And I don't know if anybody's ever pointed out to Nagato where apparently her belly is so white compared to the rest of her skin. Yeah, it's kind of weird though it's like that, because even with this suit, basically, it looks like though that she maybe got this tan after wearing one piece at some point. Of course, they go swimming, and of course, the senpai does not want to go swimming, even though that he's wearing swim trunks. And then, of course, the girls basically just enjoy flipping over the guy's back because, well, Nagato, he says, oh yeah, we're not dating, so you don't have to really do it. And of course, he flips him over and kind of puts like a whole bunch of the suntan lotion on him. They apparently cover like his back, his arms, his chest, his face, everywhere. Oh yeah, he turns out he's actually very pasty white. And he goes swimming. It turns out he's an okay swimmer. Then, of course, he goes home, and of course, he doesn't get sunburned, but he's muscling. And, of course, Nagato points out, though, to him that, yeah, you don't work out very much. You're out of shape. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this actually, how he got Nagato's number, she gave him his number because they're basically close friends at this point. Yeah. Of course, this one basically, in the case of episode 5, before we talk about episode 7, this is almost quite interesting. Anyway. You have Nagato having a nightmare of Senpai hanging out with her friends without her. It's kind of continues from the last episode where she's basically still in the art room, in the art club, and then of course she notices that the Senpai's hair needs to be cut. She's like, I'll cut your hair. Like, your hair needs to be cut. And of course they go back and forth for a bit. And then, of course, he gets a phone call from Gamero. It's like, oh, yeah, we have a return of your notes. Can you come to class, please? Like, okay. And, like, I'll be back. And, of course, they come and they try to... The whole idea of cutting his hair comes from the fact she watched a sheep getting sheared. And she wanted to say anything to the senpai because his hair needs to be cut. And after spooking off her friends, after they tried to shave a little bit of his hair, they got, like, a tiny clip of it. And... Then she just takes a pair of scissors and a comb and cuts the hair. Not much, yes. I should point out though that she cut maybe like a half an inch of his hair off because he doesn't look that much different from his haircut. Yep. It was a really interesting bit basically with her. Well, the whole thing, another thing I'll basically so after school they decided because it was so hot that day. They decided to go get a snow cone. Yes, a snow cone. And like this hole in the wall, and it gets there like, oh crap, we got a long line. They're there for quite a while, and it seemed like the line wasn't moving, and it looked like she was about to pass out. So the senpai, doing the most sensible thing, takes her out of the line, has her sit down while he gets her a bottle of water. Which, yes, any guy would do this. Even if he's somewhat of a coward, even he realizes though that she needs to drink water. Of course, he has suggested that if they want something cold, why don't they get some ice cream at the convenience store? And then as a thank you for basically getting the bottle of water, then of course they actually cut out the bit where they actually try to drink each other's water. Yeah, they cut that bit out here. But that was kind of hilarious. I was surprised they cut it out. And then she goes and gets the ice cream from the convenience store. They eat it for a bit. And then, of course, they exchange contact info. And then, of course, she says, oh, yeah, if you think of acting like a pervert, I'll send you this little cat thing. It says, perv. And then he tries to drink out of his own bottle, which is green tea, by the way. And then she says anything of perv. Yeah, it's really weird, this one. Yep. Now, in the case of the last episode, it's basically about going to a festival. Yep. It's kind of in the way of 3 episode 1, yeah. There is Senpai, want to go to the festival, like a date, huh, Senpai? Let's go home, Senpai. The first 2 stories basically are like, kind of like a 2-parter, because the second one picks up where the last one left off. So, the Senpai decides he wants to go to the festival. I should point out, though, this is a summer festival, and that's the first time I've seen stuff like this in anime. This is a very typical standard thing you would see in anime, a festival type episode like this. People wear yagatos. These are these special kimonos. The only series I've seen like this, aside from this one, that had this, was Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, My Bride is a Mermaid. Yes, this had one. I don't think To Love Ru had one of these. No, I don't think so. They did this for My First Girlfriend's a Gal. Like, a lot, I would say almost every one of the modern anime. Heck, even Bleach had one of these too. They kind of had one of these first standalone episode where they actually went to a festival like this. Wearing kimonos. I would probably say the only modern anime I come across where they technically don't do this. You were thinking, does Uzi Chimotenga, did they do an episode like this? Yes, they did. It's very standard stuff here, and of course he tries to fight Nagato. Of course he's very spooked about it. Of course he's playing the same game he got a few episodes back when she went to visit his house, and then he decides to go anyways by himself, and then he just happens to run into Nagato's friends. Yep, and they kind of in a way, of course he gets chased by them, and then they put a collar on him, and then of course he's over at the swim club. In order for her to get over there. So she takes a picture of him in the collar, and then she races over, and then challenges him to a fun little game, instead of basically physical fight. So, do a game. And, well, they kind of in the way, well, the first 2 is sort of like a mini shot put, and of course they ring toss, a few other things. Oh yeah, and also Nagato wanted this big, huge doll, and it turns out Yoshi is a big fan of this character, so she just gives it to him. And of course, she gets that character, and she gets a senpai. The collar gets unlocked, and the very next episode is, well, quite interesting one. where it's kind of getting toward the end of the festival, and then of course they decide to get some food, which this is teriyaki. I've never tried this stuff. They're not the first anime I've come across in something like this. They also had this also in My Hero Academia. Yeah, it's a popular food I've seen in a lot of anime. Have you ever tried this? No, it kind of looks like, from appearance wise, it looks like a meatball covered with sauce. Well, it's a stuffed meatball covered in sauce. That's what it looks like to me, anyways. I personally have never tried this particular one before, but it might be something I might try in the future. Then, of course, they go to the festival. They go to the fireworks venue. They try to go there, but long line again. Something 2 episodes back. And he drags her off to a particular location where they get a chance to see the fireworks. And they're there for a bit. And, of course, they talk about, like, possibly drag her off to kiss her. And then there's 2 couples basically just making out. Of course, they run away. And, of course, she thinks of bringing there. Of course, they knows how big they are. And then, like, next bit is, like, right after the summer break. So, because at the start of the series, the senpai was a sophomore and Nagato was a freshman. Since, of course, they say first day of new term, my guess is it's probably the start of a new school year, and this is my personal theory about this. So, he is a junior now, and she is a sophomore. That's my personal guess, anyways. And of course, they bring back Sakura in the actual main story. First time since the pilot episode they bring her in. Though in the manga, she didn't make an appearance after the first 2 chapters, not for 25 chapters. Yeah, this is indeed true. Then, of course, well, they sees her basically just sitting on the bench with the friends. And of course, then 2 random guys show up. Apparently, they know them. And because they're not the main characters, you don't get a clear view of their face. I'm not really sure why the heck this series does this for. Like, if it's not one of the main characters, let's just put his face in silhouette. Which, it's a minor gripe with me when it comes to this series. Like, oh, let's have these no-name characters have part of their face obscured by hiding their eyes for, like, no reason. Oh yeah, and these guys skipping club, and of course, well, they try to take Nagatoro off someplace, and of course, the senpai is not happy with this at all because, well, of course, she's the one trying to storm at him, and of course, she has no interest in these 2 guys at all, and then he tells them, "Let's go," and then all 4 girls go with them, and they go home, and well, oh yeah, and of course, I think he's drawing hentai manga. He goes, "No, I'm not drawing hentai manga." Of course, that may be something hentai for later on for a particular story arc I actually got to before I got watched this anime, where it involved the former president. They try to shut down the club, which they might do that storyline, presumably in the next episode or 2. Excuse me. Yep. Now, what do they have for the manga for these 3 episodes? Well, for episode 5, it's chapters 16, 20, 21, and bonus chapters 4 and 9. For 6, it's 9, 14, 22, 23. For 7, it's 24, 27, and bonus story number 7. And that's how they adapted. It's not that bad. So, in these 7 episodes overall for the series, they've adapted, I'd say, so far, the first 11 chapters, and this is just in these episodes already. Actually, the first 12 chapters, 14, 16 to 21. Actually, more like up to 27. So, most of these chapters, yes. I'm looking at these chapters right now. I would probably say it's like most of the first 27 chapters. I'd say the only chapters they skipped so far is chapter 13. Seems like the only one they skipped over so far. Which, who knows when that's going to be adapted. That might be done for a future episode. Yeah, but that seems like the only one they skipped over so far. I'm not seeing 13. No, I think that's quite unusual. But yeah, not much else to say about this episode. Well, these particular episodes. And in the case of the anime itself, it's interesting for the thing of it anyways, yes. So I did take a look and see on the Crunchyroll website. So apparently they upload these things apparently a day early because the actual air days of these episodes in Japan is on Sunday. So maybe this squeeze on Saturday. I don't know because there was like 4 days ago. So presumably these air on the 22nd, or it just depends upon the time basically when they air these. So if they air Sunday, so it's going to be 5 anime on Sunday for about 5 weeks before this particular thing ends. Yeah, and this is going to be quite interesting because I caught up with this series just now. I would say this would be one of 2 series to end in just 5 weeks. The other, of course, being Zebedoe Sins. Yep. So yeah, that's a particular review, and that's it for videos tonight. Now, tomorrow, expect to see reviews for Shaman King. How not to summon a demon lord. One Piece, hopefully. Yes, One Piece. And I think that might be it. I'd say about 3 videos overall because, well, I'm going to New York tomorrow and, well, behind me is going to change because I'm going to basically be at my grandma's house up in New York. And yes, she does have Wi-Fi as far as I know, though I haven't visited the place in 4 years. Yep. But I'll find out when I get up there. To see you all tomorrow. Bye.